Hi Capricorn. Excuse me. Alright, welcome to this place. Welcome back if you're returning. So, we're going to look at your light side, your shadow side, and some advice. And we'll choose a song at the end. Set a timer. Give you a little more time. Yeah, I guess we'll just jump right in. Or let's step into this. I don't feel like, I don't have the energy or feel as if we're jumping. Let's see. Completion. Wow. So, I kind of saw that. Some of you, this is where your children are now grown and you are letting go of that. Maybe it's just there's new generations being created, like new family and new things being created, and because of that we're letting go of definitions in relation to these things that are really important to us, that are sort of, you know, they're a bit of how we would probably define ourselves in the outer world. Now that definition's still there, right? You're still the mother of that child, you're still the wife of that husband, you're still the, you know, the son of that mother, etc. But the definitions of the other people are what is changing. So you're not changing, what's you're connected to is changing. Okay. Some of you could also complete a creative project at this time, or at least complete turned into the word create. Create the space for that to be in the future. Like putting away old parts of things that are no longer being utilized at this time. You don't have to throw them away. It's not that they're insignificant. It's just making some space and putting them away to use them another time. Okay. I guess some of you could also be, those of you who are creative as well, you may be switching the way you're creating in a certain way. Like, I don't know, say you were drawing and then now you're like, or drawing or painting or something, but you also, I feel like a lot of you here have you're multiple disciplinarian. So it could be like, wow, I want to bring out my sewing machine. I want to go through all my material. I want to see what's going on with that. Maybe some of you, part of the children leaving, whether this is relevant now or not, it's the fact of this. It could also be asking you to go back and change. It's like changing some things around. Like what I kind of saw was like a child's bedroom became a sewing room, right? But then that sewing room then became the grandchild's room. Again, it's still the room, and you can do what you will within it. But there's other, so it's interesting that there's so many like other people wrapped up, so you're not alone. Good. We're not meant to be alone. I mean, we should be comfortable with ourselves when we're alone, but we're not meant to be alone as a species. Not indefinitely. There could also be something with family that's really big. I guess we kind of went over that. Something big with family. Let's actually see in the shadow what's going on there. Capricorn. We have the card of obsession. Hold on. That's a weird card. Are you in the bath? Oh, I'm sorry, honey. I saw you, honey. Careful, put it on there. No, that's not the right card. Okay. Just a second. I want to actually shuffle these. Well, I guess that's just not right. But I didn't feel icky about it. I just knew that wasn't for you. You know what I mean? Okay. Top one. Oh, we have Lenore. Do you know a person? You ever known a person named Lenore? Lenora? Lenore. Okay, this is interesting with the completion card. It says, nevermore. In the light, this card says, nevermore. Endings and new beginnings. Overcoming the past, as well as reconciliation. Remember, reconciliation can be the love between two people, of course, but it foundationally, linguistically, theologically speaks of the soul coming back into contact with God. Right? We finally feel connected in this bigger way. Now, the shadow of Lenore is grief, loss, difficult truths that obliterate a sense of hope, being stuck, and seeing nothing in the void. It's interesting because Leo had this shadow card, which is one of your adjustment points about this sort of existential crisis energy. Although on the outside, it was like, you find you're strong. Like most people, well, I guess only people that don't care wouldn't know what you're going through, right? So, again, we're looking at the shadow here. It says, sometimes when this card arrives, it is possible that one is engaging in a repetitive pattern that is preventing them from working through a period of grief or accepting hard truths. Please don't eat that plant. It says, perhaps the void is just too dark, and one is afraid that they will remain in that state forever. Feelings should be seen as dynamic and in flux, and not a permanent part of who we are. It says, use the opposing directions. Use the concept of opposing directions to remind you that there are alternate perspectives. No, thank you. Come here. Come here. Yes, I know, but you can't eat that. Go play with your brother. Note that continuously looking away from the raven that brings finality and closure, you could be denying yourself a new beginning. There's a raven down here at the bottom. So, I guess that the light and the shadow side both know that something is coming to a close. Now, grief doesn't always have to be, I mean, for some of you this could be big. It could be like where there's someone in your family that passes, your parents getting older again, like something. But I think I sense a person has wrapped their head around things existentially, if you will. So it's that still exists, this reality. But I think it's more of what is the definition of other people, again, is more distinctive than the definition of you. Or that's what I'm seeing. So I guess if there are places where a person defined themselves through or because of something else, when that isn't there, that's scary, right? Let's use it in a positive. Say you worked a job for 40 years and you finally got to retire. I mean, be lucky. I don't know if my generation will ever experience that. But really, say that was the case. every day for 40 years you defined yourself as this kind of person. You work at this place on these hours, on these days. It made up your schedule. It made up your when you come home and when you leave the house and which way you go and all of that, right? But now it's different. Again, it doesn't have to be something dramatic. Now, I would say if you specifically have been grieving someone, a soul, that was a part of your life that is no longer here, I suppose this is showing me that a person is also coming to a deeper understanding, and I see the word closure in relation to some grief that they've been processing. Cancer also, these feel like trees to me right now in the background. Cancer had the card of trees. I mean, some of you could just miss your old house or where you used to live. Someone may be missing something, like there's this undercurrent feeling where it sort of flip-flops. It's like, I'm grateful to be here, but sometimes I wish I was still there. Or I wish I was there. And it's a little bit of this. Now, this is reminding me of the way the crab walks, right? Cancer. And Mars will be going through Cancer until the middle of the year, and especially through April. This is the way I've been picking up on it. Maybe other people will see it or feel it differently, but it seems to be that we're more adjusting internally some little fine-tuned parts that are generally invisible, even to ourselves, so that we can then, when May comes and then June, again, we can start walking more of the straight path. But right now it might be a little bit of the tango. I don't know how to tango. And I heard someone say, okay, it's going to happen. This is going to happen. So they could also be, this is also a preparation energy. I mean, some of you particularly could be pre-grievers. I know that I am. It took me a long time to figure out what that meant. But when I would have these big waves of emotion for no apparent reason. Now, of course, we get to check in, like, is it my time of the month? Am I tired? Am I hungry? But like really when it's sort of a constant and I'm like, I don't understand this feeling. For me personally, that doesn't always have to do, it connects to me, but it doesn't always have to do with me. Sometimes I can pick up on other things that are going on with other people. I would presume that you can too. But what does it mean in that moment is tricky, because again, it's not so definitively explained exactly. It's just someone has this deeper knowing. If you have any planets in your 4th house too, I feel like those are, you're coming to a greater lesson with that as well. Let's see. Capricorn. Okay, the sun and the moon. When is this? July, August. If we were to just take this for this time frame, I would say that it's positive, negative. Not that life is positive. You have a home, you have your body, you have the birds around you, you have your energy, you have your confidence, you have your, I heard a handle on your shadow, like you know how to climb the mountain, these kinds of things. Good. And I see support, right? What did we say? You're not alone. But the shadow here, when it comes in, it's more internal kind of space. Like, all right, I'm accepting. All right, I feel confident about this. I know this will happen. This kind of thing. And then sometimes, all of a sudden, it's like lost, scared, sad, mad, all the difficult emotions come in. Let's see how to soften that when that happens. Like how to, it's kind of a fine line to walk. What are four things that you are grieving? To me, this would kind of, what we're sort of talking about is, I mean, it could be literal deaths that you've had to endure if that comes up first. But it can also be, again, kind of like, I think what a person's a little bit sad about is, and I don't feel like this is egotistical, but it's sort of like, well, they used to have me be in their life in this way, and now they don't. Or I was in this person's life in this way. I was connected to this in this way, and now I'm not. Because some of it could be that the physical thing is still there, but a person doesn't feel it, right? They could have the same job, but they don't feel the same about their job. They could be in that relationship, but for some reason it feels like it's changing, and it doesn't quite know like what it's going to be exactly, even though a person knows in a way how it's going to work out. Does this make sense? So again, it's kind of a fine path. So how, I mean, I don't think you should be afraid. Oh, I see. Hold on a second. If I can try to, I don't know if I can remember. Hold on, Capricorn. I have to take a picture of it. Hold on. Be faster in writing it down. I can't write as fast as I used to. Okay, this says, this is a Socrates. It says, it is more important to know where you are going than to get there quickly. Do not mistake activity for achievement. Remember that there is nothing stable in human affairs. Therefore, avoid undue elation in prosperity and undue depression in adversity. And it's interesting because I almost feel like that's where someone is. But I guess the important part is, again, remember, it is more important to know where you are going than to get there quickly. Because some of you may be saying to yourself, I should be over this by now. I should be through this by now. We should be done with this by now. That kind of thing. But it's like, okay, well, what's the goal about that? And I don't feel for most of you this is a physical thing. It's more, I mean, the sun, the moon, and the fourth house, this is all very it feels very personal to me. So maybe you want to think about 4 things that are completing. I feel like there's 4 things you have completed. Take the time frame and what that is to you. 4 things you have completed. There are 4 things that you are grieving. And again, those are at different stages, and some of them are a lot closer and you could just let go, but it's like there's still... It reminds me of how I guess I can share this with you. It reminds me of how, part of the reason it was so hard for me to grieve Zumi, beyond the fact that that connection was incredibly soulful and one of the kindest experiences of love I've ever had, was it also connected to my children and gave me an opportunity to grieve and love them. So sometimes grief works like that, where these two things kind of connect, and that's why it's sort of hard sometimes to like get over one when it's get over something when it's connected to something else. Does that make sense? But once we can put these two things, these points together, connect the line, then it starts to make more sense. And I'm seeing someone like sort of like bend time. And maybe that's what kind of creates this little path to walk on. Because it could just very well be, it's like, where do I belong? Again, who am I now? Where do I belong? I want to feel, I heard good about where I am. Why, you can. Even if that's a place within the shadow. Okay? Again, you say where we want to be going, right? It's more important to know where we are going. Say the where we were going is, I want to feel this way about this situation. Or I want to allow myself to be able to feel fully about this situation. Don't worry about how long it takes to get there. But again, if it's been years upon years and it doesn't have a line that connects to something more presently, then it's important to realize you can take that piece doesn't have to exist there anymore, and we have to let go of something. Let's see. Kindness. I suppose that's the kind thing to do to yourself, especially mentally. There's a fire sign. There's a Leo in your life. I also see an air sign. I guess there's actually other fire. There's multiple fire folks. What are, out of the handful of people that you hang out with, I'm sure you know, like what are, at least, at very least, like when's their birthday? When's their, oh, he came home fast. Their sun signs. All right, I gotta go to the garage. I didn't realize how late it was. I've been so losing track of time lately. I love you so much. Have a great month. Peace out.